Anna at the Sewing Studio here, and in this video I am going to demonstrate to you the Janome 9300DX Overlocker. I'm going to talk you through its features, I'll show you everything that comes in the box, I'll show you how to thread it or do some sewing, I'll show you its capabilities, and then I'll talk a bit about warranty and support. So we've split all of those into chapters, so if there's a particular section that you're interested in, feel free to head straight there. So the Janome 9300 is a 3 and 4 thread overlocker, and that gives you 5 different stitch options, including a rolled hem. When it comes to threading the machine, you've got lay-in tension dials as opposed to kind of dials on the front there, and they're much easier to navigate. Because they're like that as well, when it comes to needing to change your colours or if you've run out of thread, you can tie the new one on in a small knot and gently pull it through as well to make life easier. Down here, everything is colour coded for you. There's a little graph on here as well, or a graph image to show you where to thread, and colour codes all the way along. And again, when we get to the sewing section, I will show you how to thread it. So the length can be adjusted on those stitches, and that's with one of the dials on the side here. And you can achieve anywhere between 1 and 4 millimetres. The cutting width can be adjusted as well, and that's with this dial here. And you can achieve anywhere between 2 and around 5.7 millimetres on that one. The knife can also be retracted, and that's with this piece here. Again, I will show you that when we get to the sewing section. The presser foot has a very small extra high lift, but it does have it there for if you are sewing with some bulkier items in there. The feed teeth, as always on an overlocker, there's 2 sets of feed teeth and it has differential feed. I'll talk a bit more about that a bit later on and how that gives you the ability to cope with different types of fabrics. When it comes to switching to a rolled hem, there's a chain finger in here that needs to be out of the way. And on some overlockers, that is a separate piece that you take out that can easily get lost. On here, it's just this piece here that you're sliding forward to retract that piece. In terms of what comes in the box, the machine will arrive like this, and there will be a small amount of thread on some spools here, and the machine will be threaded to get you started. The power lead and foot control is also in the box. I've got that plugged in here, and the standard foot will be on the machine already. And then there's a gathering attachment, some spare needles, tweezers, and a couple of different sizes of screwdrivers, as well as a full instruction manual. Now, I forgot to mention earlier that the machine itself weighs around 8 kilos, and there's a nice slot in here to put your hand to carry it nice and easily, so it is very transportable. And don't forget, if you like what you're seeing so far in this video, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified if we upload a new video. Could be another one like this on a different model of machine or one of our great sewing tutorials. Speaking of sewing tutorials, let's head into the sewing section with the Janome 9300. So we're going to thread the machine from right to left, starting with the lower looper. So I'm going to grab my thread, and then you want to go from the back through the guide there into that hole, and then come around from the back again to the front through the second hole. And then down here you can see you've got a green symbol, so it's the green path that I'm following. And you come from the back to the front on the hole on the left, and then again around from the back to the front to the hole on the right. Pull that through, and then you're coming down through the tension discs. Now, it's important at this point that the presser foot is in the up position so that those tension discs are open. When we drop the presser foot down, they close and clamp the thread, which is what gives it its tension. And I'm going to drop down the looper cover and then go in this guide at the top here. So straight down and in the guide. And then, as I mentioned, there is a diagram here that you can follow, but then I'm on the green one, so I'm following all the green dots along. So I'm going to have my tweezers assist me. So I've gone in that one, and then through these 2, that's that one, and then that one. Next, we need to go into the back of the lower looper. So what you need to do is open this out, turn the hand wheel so that the lower looper, which is this piece here, is as far into the machine as it can possibly go, down there. And I'm gonna, with the assistance of my tweezers, post the thread through to myself. Back under there. Go in through the back of the lower looper, whilst posting the thread back to myself this way. And grab it on the end of my tweezers. Just make sure it's not caught on anything there. That's that bit done. And then I'm going to bring the looper back out so that I can see the eye, and then go through the eye of the looper. Put it under the upper looper and out through the back there and under the foot. So that's that one done. So we'll move on to the upper looper now, which is the red one. I've already done this piece up here. So again, I'm coming straight down in behind that guide, and then I'm following the red dots. So there's just this one here. Just pop that in under there. There's a guide just at the back of the upper looper, which is this one here, and then through the eye of that looper. And that's that one done. And then the needles, again, I've already done those pieces. So you come down through the discs, up, so up under here, I was coming across here, over that, in the guide there, and then in the last one at the top of the needles, and through the eye of the right needle. There we go, that's better, out and under. So back to the left needle, again we're going to do exactly the same, so go down, underneath here and over, in the left guide here this time, in under the one just at the top of the needles, and then through the left eye, like so. Pull that one through and go under the presser foot. Okay, so that's everything threaded. So I'm just going to close the looper cover and drop the presser foot down, and then turning the hand wheel, I'm just going to start making some stitches. And what you're doing is feeling to make sure everything is running smoothly. If it's not and something's getting stuck, then something is wrong with your threading. So de-thread and start again. I can feel that all feels okay. So I'm just going to pop my foot on the foot pedal. And I can see that's forming the chains as I would expect. So I'm going to grab some cotton, and to start with, I'm going to set all the tensions to number 4, and we'll see what that sews out like. So I'm just going to pop the fabric in a little way. I've got the cutter engaged, so we're going to be cutting this as we go. And that's up to top speed there, which is 1500 stitches per minute. There's a little cutter on the side here that you can take the ends of your threads off. And that's done a really nice job. So you've got your left and your right needle sewing your seam. You've got the upper looper sewing the loops on the top of the fabric, and then the lower looper sewing the loops on the bottom of the fabric. And then what you're aiming for is for the 2 loops to interlock on the very edge of the fabric. Now, it's done a good job, but I can see that the thread is a bit loose on the very edge of the fabric there. So I'm going to tighten up the tension of the 2 loopers. Let's go up to number 5 and go again. And what we're aiming is to get the best result so that when you actually then embark on your project, you know your seams are nice and neat and nice and secure. There we go, that's looking much better. So it's nice and tight along the edge there, which is exactly what you want. Now when you come to move on to a different type of fabric, you'll want to sew a sample every time to get your tensions right. So I've got some denim here, it's a 10-ounce weight and I've got 2 layers. Now in theory this is a stable fabric, there's no stretch to it, just like the cotton, so we shouldn't really need to adjust too much. Other than, because it's thicker, I'm going to increase the stitch length slightly. So, oh no, it's already on 3. Sorry, I thought I was on 2.5. So we'll leave it on 3. That should be absolutely fine for this. So again, I'm just going to pop it under the foot. And that's coped with those layers really well. And again, it's exactly what we're looking for. So your loops are interlocking on the very edge of the fabric. So I've managed to switch from cotton to denim and not change anything with the tensions on the machine. So let's double this over now and make it thicker. So we'll go through 4 layers. This time I am going to increase the stitch length again, just by 0.5 millimetre to 3.5. And that's because it's so thick, it helps to make the stitch sit, I couldn't say that obviously, on the top of the fabric rather than kind of pulling it in and stretching it. So again, it just gives a neater result. So I'm going to pop that in. And yeah, it's got a nice motor on this machine and it's gone through that with no problem at all. Everything's nice and consistent. Your loops are just slightly over the edge of the fabric there. So I'm going to decrease the tension on the 2 loopers. Actually, let's go down to 4. And then we'll try that again. I can feel that's a bit tight as well. And that's because there's more fabric. So on this piece here, we've got 2 layers and that's filling that quite nicely, but then we've upped it to 4. But the loops are forming exactly the same rate because I didn't change anything else. So it's filling the space between the 2 loops more, which is why it's feeling tighter. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. So and that feels much better, and your loops once again are interlocking on the very edge of your fabric as you would want it to. So let's move on to something stretchy. This is a fleece with a lot of stretch in it and it's quite bulky as well. And again, we're going to need to sew a test to get the best results. So let's keep it as it is for a minute and we'll see what we get. So I'm just going to pop that under the foot. Those off. And that's done a nice job in terms of our tension. So the loops are forming on the very edge of the fabric, which is where we want it. But can you see we've now got this ripple effect, quite a bad ripple effect actually if I lie it flat where it should be. You know, if I lie it like that, that's fine, but it's curved and we want it like this. So this is where the differential feed comes in. So as I mentioned, there's 2 sets of feed teeth, and what the differential feed does is adjusts the front set of teeth to either sew faster or slower than the teeth at the back. For everything we've done so far, they've both been sewing at the same rate. So to counteract this rippling on this stretch material, we want the machine to do a gather. And you do that by increasing the speed on the front teeth. So they're going faster than the ones at the back. So in effect, it's gathering your fabric. So that is how you would achieve a gather, but it's also, as I say, how you can counteract the rippling on stretchy fabric. So it's this dial here. So 1 is both of them going at the same speed. So I'm going to crease it up to 2, and then we'll see what difference that makes. So I'll just drop my presser foot down. So now I have started to achieve a slight gather. So that means that I have increased the differential feed by too much. for this fabric. So let's go back down to 1.5 and try again. And that's perfect now. So not only are our tensions correct, it's now sitting nice and flat. So that's how you can adjust the differential feed to get nice consistent results on different types of fabric. Now when it comes to thickening this, I'll double it over and we'll go through 2 layers. I don't want to cut this time, so I'm going to retract the knife, and that is this lever here. So I'm just going to push it in, turn it towards me, and then the knife comes down here out of the way. Now learning from, learning from the denim material that I used, I am going to increase the tensions on both loopers because I'm filling the space with more fabric, so it will be tighter. So I'm going to pop this in underneath. So I'm now using the edge of the plate here as a guide, and I can get it in further now the blade's not there. I'm sewing slower just to help it get over that initial hump, but it's actually gone over it quite well. Let me just fold that over. And there you go, that's done a really neat job on there. But can you see how we've got a curve now? We've not got rippling, we've got a curve. Now, instead of using the differential feed, because that's not going to make any difference to that because it's not rippling, I'm going to increase the stitch length again. So I'm going to go up to number 4, and I need to pop the blade up this time because I need to cut off what I've just done. Which leaves me a very small window of fabric, but that's okay. And I'm going to pop that underneath and make a start. And that's now sitting much flatter and better. So as you can see, when trying to achieve a good stitch quality, it's not always about changing the tensions. The differential feed and the stitch length has a part to play as well. And that helps you ensure that you're getting nice, consistent results between all your different types of projects. So this machine comes with 2-year warranty. In the box, you'll find this piece of paper that explains the warranty to you in terms of what's covered and what's not. And there's also this one here that gives you the opportunity to extend the 2-year warranty to either you're getting 2 years, to either 3, 4 or 5 years. And that details how to do all of that in there for you. But don't forget, you're purchasing from us, so we are here to help and support you with your new machine. So just get in touch if there's anything that you need. Now we've come to the end of this video. I hope I've managed to demonstrate to you the capabilities of the Janome 9300DX Overlocker, and that's helped you decide if it's the right machine for you. If so, head on over to our website, or if you're local to us, pop into our shop and grab yours now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.